right, well, let's start to get into the topic of summertime. You know, for me, when I think about summer, I think of not having to pack a lunch in the morning, although my kids, for the most part, pack their own lunches now. But it's, you know, not rushing out the door. It's a time of less structure, even though we tend to still have lots of activities. And with less structure can come an increase in screen time. And, you know, so I just, and we talk about screen time so often, and I know it's going to get woven into the conversation here. We've got several webinars that we've done with past guests really diving into that a lot. I think that screen time is so important for parents to understand, to help to set yourself and your kids up for success, is finding the balance in those things. We know a lot of screen time, if we're spending time on screens, we're not moving, and it's that multi-sensory input and movement is what drives the brain and develops the brain, building better attention, emotional regulation, executive function. And so starting the summer with purposeful plans to find that balance in where do we find time for screen time that doesn't allow everything to dominate and take over. And then really what we're going to get into with you today is, what can parents incorporate into their daily lives with their kids that's going to be a benefit, not just in the moment, but long term, so that when the kids are grown and flown, they still have these strategies that they can implement in their own life. So talk to us a little bit about kind of high overview goal, big picture, and then we can drill down into how to make that big goal happen.
So I do think that with the lack of structure, it's good on one hand because you have space and time to breathe and decompress from all of the structure and busyness of a school year. That said, there is research and in my practice as well that having some structure built in to a day, even though it's a little less sort of confined, can provide students and individuals and families and children with an idea of how the day will go. So even in the summer, I suggest a visual schedule that could be on the refrigerator or a whiteboard that sort of outlines parts of the day. And I really believe that the child needs to have agency over that. And the screen time can be a part or a portion, but it's not the first thing. So that's one sort of big picture idea. I do think that these habits that we'll go over need to be a daily practice, and that's how you build a habit. And so, you know, when they're not rushing out the door to get somewhere and they maybe have a little bit more space and time, establishing a habit that will hopefully carry over into the school year for some calm and peace, and being able to just not be running around and developing some skills and strategies. And we'll talk more about this, that can be employed when there might be a meltdown or crisis or overwhelm.